boats like they were toys and stacked them on top of each other. And so many people here pulled their boats out for that reason, hoping not to have a repeat of that. For now, we're live in Vero Beach. Jen Ashbach, CBS 12 News.
We're already dealing with tropical storm force wind gusts, and in some cases, well above that. 67 miles an hour in Juno Beach. That's a big wind coming in off the ocean.
And just checking the Lake Worth Pier here, just scanning through 51 knot wind gusts, so that's about 58 or so miles per hour-ish.
Almost 60.
So yeah, almost 60 there at the Lake Worth Pier, and that was 6:30, so a half an hour ago.
And those are winds that can do some damage. They'll take out the power to houses, of course, and do a little, small trees and tree branches. They're not going to bring down big trees, but the forerunner of some of the stronger winds that'll come in later tonight. Still watching that band that's about 30 miles off the coastline that should work in later this evening. Live at 5 Max, and that one, if it does make it here, will have a big punch. I suspect strong tropical storm force winds at least. And the models bring it in around midnight. But we have that rotating cell everything's moving about 50 miles an hour. So it's in West Palm, and then 10 minutes later it's in Lake Worth, and so they're moving so quickly. So that's why it's important to keep it here and let us keep you up to date, because as soon as we spot them, we'll let you know, because it's a matter of minutes from a warning to where you might be dealing with this, even if you're 15 or 20 miles away. It doesn't take long.
This is what we were talking about earlier, so critical with this technology that you have at your fingertips now, alerting people right away to know when, where, and what to expect.
There's a whole different ballgame. This is where we can really, I don't want to say do a better job, but be very, very hyper-local and precise, and show you weather conditions that are going on that the Weather Service and the Hurricane Center cannot do. This is our time to warn you, because the Hurricane Center is not doing this stuff, what we're doing here right now. They're watching the bigger picture. We're watching these small little thunderstorms and feeder bands coming along the coastline. We're tracking them and watching for any kind of rotation, and we're watching the winds, 40, 50, 60 mile an hour winds, and reporting those. The guys who are watching the hurricane are not doing that. They're watching the wind speeds, but they're more involved with the bigger picture.
They're not dissecting it and taking it down to the street and saying, this is what you can expect in 2 minutes.
Exactly. And they haven't taken their jacket off either. We know
That's right. Steve takes off the jacket. It's starting to get serious.
That's right. Wait till those sleeves get rolled. Pay attention to the chief, then. James, thank you very much.
So the incredible video has been coming into our newsroom all night long. So we have a lot of it to get to.
Steve was saying, they're worried about this band coming in at midnight with damaging winds. Well, we've already got damage showing up right now. I want to head to Ashley Hinton in the newsroom with more on, I believe, flooding. Flooding, Ashley?
Yeah, I want to take you up to Indian River County right now, where, like you said, massive flooding going on there. This is the Riverside Cafe. If you're familiar with that, I want to take you in here. This is actually the dock behind Riverside Cafe. Kind of hard to see. I wonder if we can take this full screen, if we can have video of it here, guys. Can we take that? Okay, so this is actually the Riverside Cafe. This is actually a daytime shot of it. You can see that boardwalk almost completely underwater. So deputies are out in this area surveying the damage right now, just asking everyone to be safe, alert of this flooding that's going on right there. We continue to monitor the feeds and everything coming into us from social media, and we'll bring more to you guys as they come in.
All right, Ashley, thanks. We're just producers feeding us a little information from the control room. Apparently, there is a meeting about to get underway at the Emergency Operations Center in Indian River County. So speaking of Ashley's report here, we should get an update on any flooding conditions, and certainly any of these feeder bands, any power outages that may have occurred in that area. As soon as that update begins there in Indian River County, we're going to take it live for you.
And want to talk to you about our shelters that have opened up across the area in Indian River County. The shelters are now closed. Volunteers will no longer accept people looking for a place to stay. This includes the pet shelter, and we'll update you on if that decision changes in some sort of fashion. And we have some updated information from Tanya Rogers. She's manning the post at the EOC in Palm Beach County. Palm Beach County opened up 13 shelters right now. 6,915 people are currently residing in them. The pet shelter has reached capacity. They're now moving pets to an adjacent building. She also mentioned 49 National Guard troops are awaiting Tallahassee's decision to deploy. The governor has 3,500 at his fingertips that he's ready to mobilize at any moment's notice. It's the most in his tenure as a governor. He's got 6,000 available. So the reinforcements are in place, ready to go, should they be needed.
And I think we're doing power outages because we're starting, reports of power outages are beginning to trickle in. We got one report from a weather watcher and
Jog and Okeechobee.
That's right.
Jerry Scott.
Yep.
He talked to us earlier. He sent us a tweet earlier. He's been following us on Twitter. And if you have information, you have our Twitter handles at Jay Cashmere. Your Twitter handle is at Shannon Cave. So be mindful of this. You can be the best form of information that we have. Right now, we want to take a look at some of the updated power outages right now.
And are we going back to that screen or no? I believe we need to go right to weather.
We have the new 8 p.m. intermediate advisory in from the Hurricane Center. So the winds have dropped a little bit to 130 miles an hour, and the storm is just moving over West End and Grand Bahamas. On the radar, it looks like a landfall. I was looking at the latest bulletins. I don't see, normally they'll announce a landfall location, but it is very, very close. They're putting it 15 miles to the west-northwest of Freeport, and it is 130 miles an hour, and it's moving northwest at 13. They've also changed to the hurricane warning to a tropical storm warning south of Boca and north of Golden Beach. So we're starting to see a few changes to the current conditions out there. So there's the 8 p.m. moving northwest at 13, and the latest track bringing it very, very close still on that northwest track into the close to the Treasure Coast, just off the coastline. Of course, it's still in the air cone here, but for Palm Beach County, it's nice to see it a little farther off the coastline on the northwest track because it's coming in at an angle. It'll get very close to the Treasure Coast as a Category 4 hurricane, and then move up and parallel the coast and potentially a landfall around the Melbourne area and around the Cape tomorrow morning, and then a big wraparound effect where it eventually ends up back into the Bahamas as a tropical storm the middle of next week.
And again, you get a powerful gust, and the chop has also been picking up out here on the Intracoastal Waterway. So we are going to wrap up at this location. We're going to move a little bit closer inland to the 95 corridor, and we're going to bring you some live pictures as the night goes on. But this will probably be our last live shot in this location, because as you can see, those gusts, nothing to mess around with. Guys, we'll send it back to you in the studio.
You're absolutely right. Thank you, Mike Magnolia, reporting for us from Fort Pierce. And the Treasure Coast, obviously very worried about flooding with this storm coming in any hour.
Residents also worried about downed power lines shutting off their lights. CBS 12's Israel Balderas live in Sebastian tonight. Israel, I can see that there's some lights behind you right now. Oh, I hope we didn't just lose Israel. We may have.
It's possible we did.
Cute, talking about power, and there it goes.
Well, speaking about power, I just got a Facebook message from someone that the power is out in Palm City, and in Martin County, FPL says that 1,900 customers are already out. And let me look up this tweet from the Martin County Sheriff's Office. The sheriff just tweeted out, transformers beginning to blow on Hutchinson Island. Residents may start to experience power losses. Be ready.
Yeah,
so,
and we saw a video of that earlier tonight when these power surges happened. In fact, it happened in our studios, I think between the 5 and 6 o'clock hour. You can feel these surges, and you're hunkering down for the night. You can hear the winds, you can hear the rain, and all of a sudden, boom, it just goes black, and you're not really sure when it's going to come back. So,
and also we just got, according to CNN, there are 264 deaths reported in Haiti. Imagine that. Almost 300 people lost their lives from this storm. And it's possible that that number will go up. Well, as you can see from the radar, there are some dangerous conditions now in our area.
CBS 12's Chuck Weber is in Riviera Beach now with more.
We're at Phil Foster Park, which is right beneath the Blue Heron Bridge separating the mainland from the barrier island. We came here about 7:30, and since we've been here, the winds have been steadily increasing. We've had steady rain, no let-up, just like our meteorologist promised. Take a look out here in the Intracoastal Waterway. The waves are really stirred up. When you see wave action like this, well, that tells you we have a significant storm upon us. Wave action like this in the Intracoastal Waterway. And you don't want to be out in this, that is for sure. At times, we're even seeing the waves crash up against the seawall here. It's pretty dramatic, like that one right there. They're spraying me, these waves. It shows you how stirred up things are. Things are only going to get worse. You need to be inside. Riverside. We are at Phil Foster Park in Riviera Beach. Chuck Weber, CBS 12 News.
And as you can see from Chuck's view there, Singer Island is feeling the effects of this storm.